Within the original story by Akira Toriyama, there was never any Dragon Ball Z. From its first chapter published in late 1984 to the final one in 1995, it was published entirely as Dragon Ball. Now, if you're somewhat confused as to why the manga you own or have seen has a Z on it, Viz Media, the publisher of the English release, when releasing that portion of the story in the 2000s, added the Z on the end most likely for marketing purposes and to reduce confusion. But why was there a sequel in the first place, and why wasn't the entire anime just titled as Dragon Ball the full way through? Well, that answer lies with a man who had just about as much in hand with the creation of Dragon Ball as Toriyama himself, and that is the editor from Weekly Shonen Jump who once spotted this young talent, Kazuhiko Torishima. Of course, before that, featured artist is X-Hotkeys. He displays some solid drawing skills and has a great style. Definitely deserves some extra followers. Link to his account will be in the description. So in the latter half of the Dragon Ball anime, after the airing of Dragon Ball episode 122, Torishima wasn't exactly pleased and at that point realized he could no longer work with the current producer. For context, Torishima had put a lot of effort into how this animated adaptation of Toriyama's work was handled, after being dissatisfied with how Toriyama's prior hit series Dr. Slump was. Even so, Dragon Ball's ratings were still on a downward trend, and after trying to figure out the why behind it, he and Toriyama discovered that the producer for the anime was the same as on Dr. Slump and had deviated away from the more serious tone developed in the manga, and instead had gone with the image of Toriyama's manga being something cute and funny. So Torishima approached Toei Animation and asked to have the producer changed, and it was this series of events that would lead to Dragon Ball Z. Now, around the same time, he also had taken note of the popularity around the Saint Seiya anime and researched into it, finding two main figures at the helm, and that was director Kazuhiko Torishima and scriptwriter Akira Toriyama. Torishima then visited both, requesting if they would help him reboot Dragon Ball, and both agreed. It was then later that Morishita proposed the idea that if they had a new title in that Dragon Ball would conclude and they would start a new show, that then meant the anime would get more money for promotion. It's somewhat interesting because Morishita was asked many years earlier as to why the title changed from Dragon Ball to Dragon Ball Z, and he gave quite a vague answer saying it was just enthusiasm for new plot developments. But after that they then had a meeting regarding this new title. However, either one of them could come up with anything good. Torishima notes that he then went and asked for Toriyama's input, and he immediately responded with Dragon Ball Z. When questioned as to why he decided upon this name, Toriyama responded saying, "Because this is last, nothing comes after this." What's interesting about this statement is that it makes out that these two events played out one after the other. In reality though, it seems the staff had already been trying to come up with a new title, coming up with names such as New Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball 2, Dragon Ball Wonder Boy, Dragon Ball 90, and lastly Gohan's Great Adventure. And the latter title seemed to have been what they were planning on going with for some time, as in the very early scripts it was used, and even in promo art, such as this one by Masaki Sato, you can see that within the top right corner. Furthermore, in the layouts, which is something drawn by a key animator, essentially a blueprint for the following stages of animation, the first episode would originally be considered a Dragon Ball episode, being numbered as 154. Again, Morishita's words, and another producer from Fuji TV, Kenji Shimizu, tells a different story to the origins of the name, as according to Morishita, the staff are assuming that the story would go forward with Gohan as the main character. However, Toriyama responded saying, quote, "No, the protagonist is really Goku." They then responded, "Is that so? Then what should we do about the title?" And Toriyama replied, "Wouldn't it be cool if just a Z? That's okay." And from there the title was decided. Toriyama also remarked on this many years later, saying that his thoughts at the time were they don't really have to change the title, do they? But since it was demanded from a staff member that they wanted to freshen it up, he went along and felt that the title he thought of should be fine. Now my guess is what Torishima described took place after Toriyama's discussion with other Toei staff. It would explain why he responded so quickly with an answer, but also the response of how this is last and nothing comes after this, a detail that both Morishita and the other staff seem to have been unaware of. Regardless, Dragon Ball Z would be the title going forward, thanks to Toriyama, who would also draft several concepts for the logo, and with producer Kizo Shichijo being replaced by Kozu Morishita, and Takao Koyama, who had also worked on Dragon Ball earlier before moving over to Saint Seiya, returned back with Dragon Ball episode 132, and reprised the role of series composition, a key position given to the main writer of the series. New character sheets were also created by Minoru Maeda, and the series will continue on in the exact same time slot the next week after Dragon Ball's final episode, 153. But with that though, brings us to the conclusion as to the reason why Dragon Ball Z was created. So thank you everyone for watching. Hope you found it interesting, and I think it's also a good reminder of how much Torishima played a role in the success of Dragon Ball, and I can't help but wonder how popular the anime would have been in Japan, but more so the West, if he hadn't pushed for the producer to be replaced, and everything that unfolded from that never took place. Quite an interesting what-if scenario, but with that though, thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.